Welcome to Top Rope Reality, Part 5. I keep forgetting. My mind is going.
It is Part 5. And
Too many chair shots.
And it's, here we go, Kyle's Corner.
Kyle's Corner, right there.
Kyle's Corner. Right above our heads. Right there.
How long it's going to stay, I don't know.
Have no clue. It'll go away before I do that just to make it look stupid.
See, this movie through now, I did it. I'm raising the roof. Oh no, Kyle's Corner.
Kyle's Corner.
Okay, go ahead and start with your Kyle's Corner.
We didn't, sorry, we had some technical difficulties. Didn't start our timer there, buddies. Alright. So, throwing everything around, ain't you?
No, I'm just looking at that.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
That'll be later.
Oh, yes.
So, Carter's Corner, you loved it so much. We brought it back. That was my, I had no filters because he wasn't over here. So, he was in sunny Florida. So this time, Carter's Corner with guest Mike Hogan. There we go. Because see, I'm in the corner, that's why we call it Carter. Because I'm in the corner over here.
Okay. With guest.
With guest Mike Hogan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So, we're going to be talking about the brand split. Okay, it's been going for, it was going for a long time.
It was.
And it worked. Okay.
It all depends who was doing the writing, too.
That's true, too. I mean, SmackDown was beating Raw for so many years because of Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah.
But just to give you kind of overview, I was just looking at, like, what it meant with the brand split and how we had different GMs, how it gave them a role in the company. People that without the brand split would have no role, and we can clearly see that now because there is no more brand split. We're talking about when it first started, there was Raw and SmackDown, and there was co-owners, and it was Vince and Ric Flair.
And the fun thing about it, on your brand split.
Brand split, yes.
Brand, not bland.
Not bland. The brand split was definitely not bland.
No. They did away with it because of ratings. We want John Cena on SmackDown. We want John Cena on Raw. We want this guy here. We want this guy on both shows. Well, they got it now. Has it helped ratings?
Nope.
Nope. Why don't they go back to it? They should go back to it.
It hasn't even helped Raw. Raw's gone downhill.
Raw has gone downhill.
And it's sad.
It is sad.
Very sad. But Vince was the co-owner for SmackDown, and the co-owner for Raw was Ric Flair. And then once Vince took over, then you had Stephanie as the SmackDown GM and Eric Bischoff, which made for great TV between the two of them trying to compete with each other on making what was the better show. And you really had Nitro and not Thunder, horrible show. Nitro and Raw again because you had a McMahon and a Bischoff facing each other.
Yes. How
How cool was that? Okay. Then just looking at the Raw people, you've had Eric Bischoff, you've had the Coach, you had Chief Morley.
What, Chief Morley?
Yeah, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin, the sheriff and the co-GM.
Yes.
Foley was in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Regal, Mike Adamle, we try to forget him. Bret Hart come back and he was a GM. Shane McMahon helped out a little bit in the role, kind of not really maybe a GM, but he was an authority figure on Raw. Hornswoggle was apparently the anonymous general manager.
Guys just trying to write yourself out of a bad storyline.
Let's just Mike Adamle. I'd rather have Mike Adamle back than the anonymous GM / Hornswoggle.
I hated that.
That was
I
horrible.
hated it.
Then you had Johnny Ace, and you had AJ Lee, and then on SmackDown you had a whole lot less people. Okay, because after Eric Bischoff, they just couldn't find the right niche person for Raw. To me, they didn't work.
No.
Eric worked great, and the other ones, it was just like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You just couldn't do it. Okay, but on SmackDown, you had Stephanie did a great job. You had Heyman. He did a wonderful job. You had...
Yes, he just got too big for their britches.
Yes, he was a little... He should have just said, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, yes,
That's
sir,
not
no,
him.
ma'am.
That's
It's
not
not him. That's why he's a whole lot better in his role now of just coming to work, doing a promo, going home.
And if Dix Carter would say, yes, sir, and come on over, I don't think we were talking about her maybe going out of business.
Thank you.
If the deal is not a TV deal, which depends on what TV deal. It still could be a big announcement, but if it's something that gives you less viewers,
if they had
Heyman,
Heyman, Spike TV would be like, yeah, we keep it.
Because if they had Heyman,
because the ratings would be better.
If they had Heyman, we'd have a war.
Yes.
We'd have a war.
Absolutely. But he wouldn't have jumped to Mondays like
I think he would. He wouldn't have done this quickly, but he would have turned the product around and he would have got it to Mondays, and it would have been a battle.
Because Hogan and Bischoff were a little bit.
And you just screwed up people. How about JR's done? Bring on good old JR to announce table.
Because him and Heyman are good friends. There.
That's a lot of things that Paul Heyman could have done to turn TNA around. I mean, I'm saying they're gone, but ditch Carter, give him 49%.
They are a shell of the company they used to be.
Yes, and they're going to be, and depends on what happens in 10 days, and they're going to be, or they'll be a shell of a shell.
A shell of a shell. There you go. But then you had Kurt Angle, very, very short. He was the GM. He did pretty good too as a heel GM. While he had Luther Reigns, not Roman, and which is sad. He could have done much better. And then that other guy, Sean O'Hare's buddy, was with him too.
Piper?
Nope, that other guy. Mark Jindrak.
Mark Jindrak!
That's
I was
his
going to
name.
say that.
Good job! And then you had Vicky Guerrero, which honestly, I could say Vicky Guerrero, in my opinion, is the best GM for SmackDown.
It will take long.
I'm getting there.
Holla, 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 holla.
Playa.
Holla, holla.
Then you had Teddy Long, but I think,
He's the Mac Militant!
but he's coming to get it on. But the thing is,
A tag match is going to go.
inside joke there. But anyway, Teddy.
He said it himself.
But-
He's the Mac Militant.
I know he's coming to get it on. But anyway, that's the inside joke. But anyway, Teddy Long though, he was good in his role, but I think GMs are better as heels, and I think that because you get the heat going there, and you make your faces look better, in my opinion. But then you also had Booker T with a lackluster 1-year run as the general manager. That I forgot all about it.
Wow.
But I would have to say that
52 weeks.
Heyman, Vicky, and Teddy are the best three. But that being said, not only did you have roles for those people having an authority figure type role, because now all we have is Triple H and Stephanie and Kane, and it's like, what the crap? I mean,
Right.
it's not as intriguing, because now Brad Maddox is in oblivion. He ain't doing nothing.
I think he's going to show up in NXT or something, you know.
I mean, he
A
could.
wrestler. He will be a
Be a
wrestler. He will
wrestler
not
again.
be, no, yeah.
And then, I mean, you lost Vicky Guerrero, and at that point, when both of them went away, you said, I never mind about GMs. I mean, because they completely quit talking about it.
Yeah,
So
they're
they're done.
authority. They got the authority.
They got the authority figures. There you go. And then, I mean, but at the same time, though, with the brand split, even when they had the ECW, you had opportunities for young, up-and-coming wrestlers. Honestly, if there was no ECW reboot, I honestly believe we would have never had 434 days of CM Punk. I honestly can say that because Heyman was the only one that believed in him.
Yeah.
So Heyman brought him up. Now, Heyman was writing SmackDown for that period of time. Yeah, he would have done that. I think he would have brought him up. But that was the best thing for Heyman, was going down in OVW, because he had a relationship with a lot of good people. But you wouldn't have had a CM Punk. You would have never seen Kofi, which they don't crapping on him now. Then, I mean, Evan Bourne, I don't think he would have had a chance. That's sad that he's gone. But anyway,
He's in Ring of Honor. I mean,
there you go. Yoshitatsu is another one. I think he could have done a whole lot better. Instead of making him Funaki, they should have made him Tajiri when they brought him in. So that's the only thing I'm afraid of about Hindu Utami. If I said it right.
I think you
Something like that.
squashed it that time.
Hadanu Hatami, something like that. Anyway, Hatami. Kenta.
Let's go Kenta.
I just hope that they do much better with him and they go above the Tajiri level. I hope.
They do too.
I hope. But getting back to the brand split, I believe that you would have a whole lot better opportunities for people, and they wouldn't have wrestlers worried about, oh well, John Cena's way up here and I can't get there, because that was the whole reason. He was all the way out of the view. See, you can't even see it. That's how high it is. So
Where's he at? You know, binoculars.
There you go.
There he is, barely. I think
You
he's
see
saying.
that? You see him using the HGH?
No, he's saying I can't see him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway,
Oh, that's so rich.
that I think it was. But anyway, going back to that though, the thing is, when you had SmackDown, because of Raw you had John Cena and Triple H, they were killing it. Okay.
Yes.
So when you wanted people to go over big, you had to move Randy Orton over to SmackDown because them two were in the way. You had to move Batista over to SmackDown, but and move Edge too when they all got big. But that's the thing. That's why SmackDown was much must-see TV. I'll get it right eventually. And that's why The Undertaker stayed there, because Undertaker would not have been such a big deal for all those years if he would have been on Raw that whole time, because it wouldn't have mattered. Then you've got this opportunity here with ECW. You would have never seen Zack Ryder's. You would have never seen Kurt Hawkins. You never would have seen the people they could have done stuff with and decided not to.
Right.
But if they would have kept a brand split of at least Raw and SmackDown and got rid of ECW, that's fine. I honestly believe those people that have been released, those people that they can't figure out what to do with them,
What's the stupidest thing?
they can't figure out what to do with it. I think, honestly, they would have stuff to do with them because you would have separate titles, you'd have separate storylines, you could keep John Cena on Raw doing his thing, and you know what? Then you could have the next Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dean Ambrose because he could run SmackDown and be the main guy on SmackDown. Because when I went to the SmackDown tapings, he was the SmackDown tapings. That's the whole thing was about. So why can't we get to that point? What's wrong with that? The brand split, number one, I think made more money. Yes, I understand not doing separate pay-per-views. That worked out great for a while.
Yeah.
But it kind of messed them up. But I could see maybe saying, okay, well, we'll do split pay-per-view, but let's do 4 matches from Raw, 4 matches from SmackDown.
And 2 and 2 on the pre-show.
Exactly. So that way you give
Because
everybody a
you're on
chance.
the network for $9.99.
Exactly. So that way you give everybody a chance. And
Oh yeah.
and that means that, they could have possibly still had a cruiserweight division because you've got small enough people to do that kind of stuff. You've got enough women. I wouldn't say split them up, but I would say have some on SmackDown and some on Raw, and you can have the one title defended on both shows.
Okay.
And the same thing with the tag belts.
What we're going to do, we're going to look at like what you're talking about here. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. We're gonna go over. Give us enough time.
Yes.
2 weeks. I'm gonna do a brand split. You're gonna do a brand split, and we're gonna see how we come out.
So we're going to come back into
Current
people only.
current people only. Yes.
Can we pull NXT people in?
Yes.
Okay, because they are WWE
Yes.
superstars. So, on the next Carter's Corner in 2 weeks,
Yeah. The next Carter's Corner.
we'll
2
do
weeks.
the actual
We
brand
will
split.
talk. We'll look at our brand split and see how we can make SmackDown and Raw better.
There you go. I like that.
Okay. Well, is this it for corner?
That's it.
All right, hold
Just
on.
my gripe.
Okay. Let me get rid of that.
There you go.
Okay. Now, before we run out of time, we got this snail mail here.
Handwritten letter to our P.O. box.
For a person named J.S.
J.S.
No, nothing else than that.
Interesting.
Don't know if it's a man, woman, or child. But it says, to Mr. Hogan and Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter.
Let me first say that I've enjoyed your show, but last week
Thank
at
you.
Dirty 30,
Okay.
I've seen that you two have gone bad.
Like a
We've gone
bad
bad.
banana went black.
And if you two would let me come on your show and show you two the right way,
Right way.
we're not doing the right way, I guess.
Apparently not. Apparently
I know.
he thinks we can have improvements.
Have you looked at the views on Dirty 30? I think it did okay.
We got that all right.
Right way. I believe
Clearly he watched it though.
we,
He watched it.
or she,
Or she, we don't know. It's
JS.
That's JS. The person watched it.
I believe we can make not only your show, but the whole internet a cleaner place for the whole family.
Oh, it says PG error here. All right.
Sound like G area.
G error, there you go.
Yes. I will be waiting to hear from you two about this matter. Thanks, and God bless, and remember to say your prayers. J.S.
I hope he's not saying we need to say our prayers because he's threatening us. I hope he's not threatening.
He J.S., Mr., Mrs., little kid, we don't know.
Person, human being.
We will think about it. We may have an answer for you next week.
We might.
Maybe no. It may be
yes.
okay.
And then maybe.
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 But we will let this person know next week, or the week after, or the week after that.
That's right.
don't
We might
know.
leave them hanging. But they'll find out what our answer is. We're not going to snail mail it because apparently you watched the show. So you know what? We're going to let you know our answer
Yeah.
on the show.
We'll talk about it and we'll see.
That's
If
right.
we come with something next week, we'll let you know next week.
We will.
Well, that was it. It was a great thing. Like I said, we'll do that on the next Carter's Corner. And we'll have more indie news. Get closer to us going to the big
Coming up,
Percy
November
Pringle, the
November
third
the 2nd. So
show.
we'll be talking about that coming up soon.
Yes, we need to talk about it a little more. And
more countdowns, of
more
course.
countdowns, more TNA. Ring
And
Honor
closer
news.
to the major announcement from TNA.
Next week we should know. 10 days.
There you
Am I
go.
right? Wouldn't it? No. Yes. No. No. Yes. 16th, 26th? Yes.
There you
Should be out by then. All right, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. And we'll keep doing this till we get it right. Remember, we are the biggest internet show that no one watches.
That's right.
This is Talk About Reality right here on YouTube.